What is up, everybody? It is Matt with the Jammies, and man, we got a great show. We got 4 brand new artists to talk about, from Sam Barber to Maudlin Strangers and a couple others. We got 10 brand new Saucy Singles coming at you. One of my favorite lists of Saucy Singles I've ever put together. A lot of good stuff there, and talking about a lot of good stuff, we have 5 brand new albums that came out in the last month that we're going to be discussing some first impressions on. All that along with the song showcase by Noah Richardson, his second ever time being on the show, and his single, My Turn. A lot coming up here, so stay tuned for episode 11 of the Jammies. What is up, everybody? It is episode number 11 of the Jammies. This is your host, Matt, and we are going to rock and roll through a whole bunch of great music. Every month, it seems, we just are spoiled in the music industry nowadays, you know? I feel like you used to, check out this one hot single. It's a good single from back in the 80s. Here's Back in Black, you know, like that. And that just rocked the music scene for months. I mean, it's still rocking the music scene. People still cue that one up. They go to the jukebox. What's the first song they cue up? Back in Black by AC/DC. So that's how the music industry maybe used to run. Now we just get brand new music all the damn time. I mean, you could find a new album just about every Friday. And that's what we have. Man, we have so many albums to talk about. We are going to be giving first impressions on a lot of the albums that we've been mentioning in previous episodes. But don't worry, we got some new artists to talk about, as well as a good list of 10 saucy singles to break down as well. So, lots to get into. Appreciate you guys being here for the 11th episode of the Jammies. So, just a little bit of housekeeping to start us off with. If you want to follow the podcast, make sure to click that follow button. It is going to notify you every time a new episode of the Jammies comes out. We're once monthly podcast as of right now. And we're going to be coming out on the last Friday of every month. So this one's coming out on September 26th. I believe the next episode will be actually October 31st, a little spooky Halloween episode. See if we have any sort of themes going on for episode 12. With that being said, just again, make sure to click that follow button so you get notified when the next episode of the Jammies comes out. Just once a month as for now, but with how much music we've been able to curate through, I don't know, maybe someday I can bump it up further than that, but it is just a one-person operation here working on the Jammies. So biggest thing that was introduced last episode, it's the Jammies playlist. So these are a specific playlist for each episode of the Jammies. Basically every single song that I recommend throughout the show is going to be on a nice curated playlist on Spotify. So even if you don't have a Spotify premium membership, if you have at least an account, even if it's a free account, you can still shuffle up all the songs that are mentioned here. So the links are going to be right in the description. Otherwise, you can go to my Linktree, and that's going to link you right to my Spotify profile, where you can find all those playlists from each episode. But again, in the episode description is going to have the specific episode 11 music playlist, so you can shuffle every single song that has been recommended here today. So again, that is my highest request, was that, and it makes so much sense that, nobody's going to just sit there, queue up all these songs while they're already listening to the podcast, or maybe driving or working or something during the podcast, you know? So the Jammies playlists allow you to consume all the music that is talked about in the episodes, so definitely check those ones out. All right, a little bit more housekeeping here. If you have any music that you wanted to recommend to the show, if you've been enjoying some of the recommendations that I've been putting out there, and if you wanted to showcase your music on the show, all those things, you can reach out to me at thejammiesshow@gmail.com. That is the Jammies is JAMMIES show SHOW@gmail.com. Otherwise, it's going to be right in the description. You can click on there, send me an email. Again, if you got any recommendations, if you've been following any of the recommendations or really digging any of the artists or the songs that I've been mentioning, and if you have music to showcase on the show, like Noah Richardson has, Nicole Alexis has, Flump has, Nikki and the Barn Boys have. I don't know if I'm going to do this list every single time because it might get difficult, but today we even have another artist showcase. I believe this is 4 straight episodes, and this is going to be the second time that we will be showcasing Noah Richardson's music. He actually has a brand new EP coming out today on 9/26/2025. It's called It's So Good to See You. This is a brand new EP from Noah Richardson, 6 songs. All 6 of them are very, very good. 4 of them have been singles before. The last 2 unreleased ones that, again, are released today are going to be some fantastic songs as well there. We are going to be showcasing his song My Turn at the end of this episode, so definitely look forward to that. The episodes do have timestamps if you want to jump around. If you're sick of me talking about one specific artist, you can click on the next timestamp, move on to the next section. So keep in mind that those are there. So if you're looking for me on TikTok or Instagram, it is going to be at MattyWitha. That is MattyWitha. And if you wanted to keep up with all the things that the Jammies are working on, you can go to the Linktree link. It's linktr.ee/thejammies. And that's going to be where you can find just about everything that the Jammies is working on, from social media to the playlist to even merch. And of course, you can find links to the podcasts themselves, to Spotify and Apple there. So Linktree, definitely a great resource if you're looking to keep up with what we're working on here at the Jammies. That is all for housekeeping. So again, we got our artist showcase and Noah Richardson coming up at the end of the show. So stick around for that. This episode, we're going to be talking about a ton of different albums that just recently came out, mainly just my first impressions on those albums. We do have 4 new artists to talk over, a good list of 10 saucy singles, so lots of music to get into. Let's do just that. Let's get into it. And the first artist to mention, it's the artist Sam Barber. Sam Barber, I'm sure more people know of Sam Barber than most of the music that I have talked about in the Jammies history here, but that it's kind of a little funny story we have with Sam Barber. So it really does showcase why the Jammies exist and why I started in the first place, because there's so much music out there. There's so many different people making great art, making great music, and we just can't keep track of it all. So I've been talking about a lot of indie folk artists, some smaller or some with maybe decent followings, but here was this artist with 11 million monthly listeners on Spotify alone, and it was just totally, I guess he was just totally in my blind spot. So again, this is what the Jammies is for. It's about shedding light on artists, as well as like helping people to find new music that I think they might enjoy, that I have been enjoying. So Sam Barber doesn't really need the light shed from this little podcast, but if you haven't heard of him, it is a high recommendation. So I actually came to know Sam Barber from far smaller artists that he collaborated with. We had mentioned the song Better Than the Floor with Chance Peña. Chance Peña, one of my favorite artists. That was a song that they collaborated together in a recent single. I believe it came out in August. And then also we had Jonah Kagen, who we've been talking about as of late. They had a song called Burn. That was Jonah Kagen featuring Sam Barber. So those were the 2 reasons that I knew of Sam Barber. Somehow, even though I've been curating through all this indie folk music, I have not stumbled further into it. So yeah, last episode I even possibly mentioned that I was excited to deep dive into Sam Barber's music. I was like, oh, he's already on my radar is actually what I said in that episode. And it's just funny seeing how big an artist he really is. I'm sure that sounded pretty ridiculous to some that already knew of him, but here we are. We deep dove into Sam Barber's music, and it did not disappoint at all. I fully understand why he has so many listeners. He's kind of in between the indie country and indie folk genres, so I feel like he's definitely a widespread audience when it comes to that, especially now that he has such a big following here. So the deep dive, Sam Barber has a ton of music out right now. He has 2 different EPs and an album that we are going to go over. But what I will say about Sam Barber and his long list of music, he's easy to deep dive into because just about all of it is very good music, good to great music. We're going to go over some of my favorites. So let's dive into Sam Barber's music. So Sam Barber released a EP in 2023. It's called Million Eyes. Only listened through that one time. Moved on quickly to his album Restless Mind, which is a 28-song album. Came out November 2024, so within the past year here. 28 songs. That is a lot to dive through. We're going to get into it. I just want to also mention he has the EP Music for the Soul. That's an 8-song EP. It was released actually August 15th. That one has some of my favorite stuff. But let's start with the Restless Mind album. So I did listen through the album Restless Mind by Sam Barber quite a few times, probably 6 to 10 times, I'd say, all the way front to back. Sam Barber was really what I wanted to be listening to a lot of this month. Again, the music, it's all good to great. With 28 songs, I feel like it can sort of flow together, but I definitely know the ones that stuck out to me the most and the ones that I kind of kept on queuing up outside of just those long album listens. And my favorite songs off of the album Restless Mind. I really love both of the duets with Avery Anna. One of them is called Restless Mind, and the other one is called Indigo. I believe both of them are in top 10 songs on Spotify for Sam Barber. The other two that I really enjoyed are Streetlight and the song Let Me Down. Again, those are my other two favorites, but the whole album I feel like you can really listen to front to back, especially if you're into that country, maybe country folk genre. There's a lot to love there. And with his most recent EP called Music for the Soul. Again, that was released on August 15th of this year. So very recent. It's going to have 8 songs. I truly recommend the entire EP. The full 8-song EP is it's very good front to back. Starts with the song Music for the Soul, which is a great one. If you just need a couple to check out, and the few that I'm going to be adding into the Jammies playlist for this episode are the songs Home Tonight, Better Than the Floor again with Chance Peña, and the song Ain't Dead Yet. So yeah, they'll probably be, I'm thinking probably 7 to 8 Sam Barber songs in the Jammies playlist. There's even more to enjoy if you're liking them like I was. Like every time I heard a Sam Barber song pop up, I was like, man, yeah, I like this one too. So we're gonna be checking out these songs: Home Tonight, Better Than the Floor, Ain't Dead Yet, Streetlight, Let Me Down, Restless Mind, and Indigo on that Jammies playlist. Again, there's a lot more to go enjoy from the very talented Sam Barber. Sam Barber maybe was a little long-winded. There was a lot to say about him. He has more than 40 songs out there. It was a lot to digest, but this next artist that we're going to be talking about, they only have 4 songs out right now, so maybe a little bit shorter part of the segment, but they are still a part of the artists mentioned. And this next artist that we're going to be talking about is the band Boxrooster, all one word. Again, they only have 4 songs out, and their first song actually came out February of this year, 2025. They are some good, fast-paced, kind of chill rock music that I tend to like. I really like the singer's voice. I feel like the singer will carry him far in this indie space, as well as there's some good guitar going on as well in about 3 of the 4 songs. The best 2 songs for me so far are their song Seattle and the song Not Famous. Those are, again, the 2 best for me, but I think there's definitely something here. So this is going to be a band that I'm going to be keeping my eye out on. And I feel like I've heard artists like this before that have panned out, so I'm excited to see what Boxrooster has coming next. Again, bookmarking them, we got those songs saved. Alrighty, next artist we have to talk about is the band Maudlin Strangers. Maudlin is Maudlin. So Maudlin Strangers, pretty new band. They do have a EP out from 2017, but hadn't really released much music in between. They have some really good stuff out in 2025, though. The songs from 2025 are mostly what we're going to be talking about, so let's get into that. Maudlin Strangers, they are a hard-hitting rock band that remind me a lot of the Arctic Monkeys. I think if you like the Arctic Monkeys, Maudlin Strangers are definitely worth a shot for you. They have that heavy or loud, synth or distorted guitar, really powerful in a lot of their songs. And the singer and kind of the backup vocals just really remind me of a lot of the AM album from Arctic Monkeys. Maudlin Strangers have about 10 songs out. Most of them show up on an EP called Welcome Home. This was released May 30th of 2025. I feel like this EP takes all their best singles from the last couple of years, as well as throws a couple new songs in there. My favorites by them are I'm Not in the Right Mind, Don't Worry I'm Fine. Those are probably their 2 best, as I'm Not in the Right Mind and Don't Worry I'm Fine. This EP also has the song Silver Stain, Say What You Wanted, and again, there is an older song from 2017 called I Suppose. Those are my top songs by Maudlin Strangers. I do feel like I'm Not in the Right Mind and Don't Worry, I'm Fine are the 2 best, but they're 2 of the more recent songs by them as well. So a lot to enjoy there, and hopefully something to look forward to with Maudlin Strangers. All right, the 4th of 4 artists to mention before we get into some saucy singles and then finish the show out with all of the first impressions of albums. In this last artist, their name is Miles Hardt. Miles is Miles, and Hardt is Hardt. This is another artist that I was listening to a lot of them at the beginning of the month before, honestly, music just kind of flooded. Music just avalanched over some of these different artists that I was listening to in the earlier parts of September. So despite this artist being buried a little bit, I did have a good time listening while I was. And there's at least 4 songs that I do want to mention from Miles Hardt. He's a solo artist, has a nice softer voice. Some of the songs that bring in more than just the acoustic guitar I really enjoy. Sometimes they'll have some good vocal layering, a lot of good lyrics. He has a good voice for the mood that he's trying to set with that softer kind of emotional folk music. My favorite songs by Miles Hardt are the song Heaven, Hold Back, Maybe I'm Worth Saving, and Watered. I do think Heaven and Hold Back are probably my two favorite songs by Miles Hardt, and I think they're definitely worth something to shuffle into, again, maybe an emotional folk genre, lyrical folk genres. Again, an artist that I listened through all their music. These are the top 4 that I have, and I think they're worth shouting out there. So Miles Hardt, the songs Heaven and Hold Back will both at least be on the Jammies playlist there for you to listen into. Alrighty, we have a nice list of Saucy Singles today. 10 great songs. Probably one of my favorite Saucy Singles lists that I've ever put together here. We got a lot of returning artists as well as some brand new ones to talk about. So let's dive into it with the first of the Saucy Singles. This is a song called Niagara Street by the band Neighbor Andy. Neighbor Andy is actually a band that we almost brought up earlier in the year. We just didn't necessarily have enough time with them. But this latest single that they have out, man, it is great energy song. Got some fantastic vocals, even some saxophone that comes in later in the song. We're a sucker for saxophone for sure, so we gotta include it. I really did like their music. I feel like not all of it had the same levels and the same energy as this single produces. So Niagara Street by Neighbor Andy. If you're looking for a couple other good ones, if you're really enjoying this one, some other good songs by them, When You Need It, Wild One, Pacifica, those were some that I was going to potentially mention on a previous episode, but again, we moved past that one, so if Niagara Street gets its hooks in you and you want a little bit more Neighbor Andy, there's plenty more out there. Next Saucy single, it's called Found You/Me. This is by Good Neighbors. So we had Neighbor Andy. Randomly, we have Good Neighbors next. And this is another band that, man, for some reason I thought Good Neighbors was just around for a lot longer. And I thought that they just had a ton of music out. I think it's maybe because it reminds me of one of those like upbeat bands from the 2010s, like MGMT, maybe Foster the People. They are reminiscent of those bands, but bring some great energy to a new space because I remember listening to the song Home by Good Neighbors. And again, I thought it was out for years. Nope, it came out in 2024, and Good Neighbors actually only has a handful of songs out there. So I feel like Good Neighbors is even more so on my map now that this Found You/Me song came out. I listened to the rest of the music that Good Neighbors had out, and I think that Found You/Me is definitely up there with their top 2 songs being this one and the song Home. I think quite a few people maybe have heard the song Home. I feel like it blew up pretty big. Maybe because, again, it does sound like one of those great old MGMT songs that really hit it big back in the day. But I'll be checking out their debut album. It's actually coming out October 3rd. It's called Blue Sky Mentality. Again, that's by Good Neighbors. So I'll be checking that one out. Hopefully we have a couple more songs. It is going to have this Found You/Me song on it, as well as song Home. A lot more to come from Good Neighbors, and I'm hoping to report on that maybe in October here on episode 12 of the Jammies. But for now, Found You/Me, that'll be in the Jammies playlist. Check that one out. It's going to pack some great energy, and hopefully we can look forward to a lot more of that good energy in their upcoming album, Blue Sky Mentality. All right, we have a returning artist. This is a brand new single from the band Lazy Haze called Night Like This. This is the latest single by them. It was released on September 12th of this year. It's actually their first song of 2025, and it really confirms to me that this band is a great one to follow because they're just making great indie rock. The last time we talked about Lazy Haze, they had about 50,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. They're up to over 200,000 now on Spotify, so it seems like their music is getting around. This is one of those Australian indie rock bands that I really love the singer. I actually even gave a special shout out to the bassist when we talked about Lazy Haze a couple episodes back. And what do you know? The singer sounds great in this one. The bassist really comes in on the second verse. There's a great bit of guitar and kind of like the third act of the song. I really love the refrain. I love how the singer sings the phrase "out in the rain." And yeah, there's a lot to like. This is actually Lazy Haze's 6th ever released song here. So they have that 5-song EP that we mentioned a couple of episodes back. And now another great one in Night Like This by Lazy Haze. All right, another returning artist dropped a new single. This is Dog Park and their latest single, September. This one was released September 12th of this year. I gotta say, Dog Park, great band. And I feel like this is one of the best singers in the entire indie space. They just prove it time and time again. This song, no different, has some really groovy bass on the refrain to go along with the singer, and at the 3-minute mark, there's some great guitar going on too. So the song September by Dog Park, yet another great one. They were not only a artist that we mentioned, ran through all their music, but they have actually already been in the Saucy Singles list earlier this year. A lot to love with Dog Park. They make a whole lot of great music, and we're going to keep on mentioning it. Alrighty, one more Saucy single from an artist that we have mentioned in the past. This is the single Cut and Dry by the artist Foxtide. We mentioned Foxtide in a couple episodes. We mentioned him in the 2024 review of all our music. Brand new one from Foxtide, again called Cut and Dry. Talk about some great vocalists in the indie space. Foxtide's lead singer, Dog Park's lead singer, even Lazy Haze's lead singer. Man, they're all fantastic. They really pack a good punch with their voices and offer some uniqueness in their music just based on the singer's voice alone. So yeah, Dog Park, Lazy Haze, Foxtide, all releasing singles in the exact same week. And they actually blend together really nicely. So yeah, that's another one that once you catch the bassist, once you tune into that bass line, it really does wonders for the song. Next, Saucy single. It is the song Out For You by the band Modern Alibi. So this band almost made it into the artist to mention. In the beginning of this month, I was listening to a whole bunch of the Maudlin Strangers that we mentioned earlier, and they were mixing in with the band Modern Alibi as well. And I feel like I really did give Modern Alibi a decent shot. I mean, I listened through their only album out right now. It's called American Radio. It released on April 4th of this year. And I gave it quite a few listens front to back. I probably listened to it 4 or 5 times all the way through. And while it definitely has some good stuff about it, I feel like the more music that came out just kind of pushed it further and further down the list for me. But they do have some good songs. I feel like it might be a band that somebody else could fall in love with pretty easy. So I at least want to mention in Saucy Singles the song Out For You, again by Modern Alibi. This song rips a great guitar solo. It has a good refrain. Some other songs that I do like by Modern Alibi are the songs Boy You Better and American Radio. Those are both going to be on that American Radio album. If you like Out For You, if that's really working for you, then do go check out the rest of Modern Alibi's album, American Radio. Next up, we have the Saucy single. This one's called Velvet by the band Garden Drive. Velvet was a song that was good enough to make me want to dive fully into the band Garden Drive. Sometimes there are songs out there that, I hear the one and I'm like, you have one full album out? I'll listen to the whole thing because of this one song. That was the case with the song Velvet by Garden Drive. This was a song off of their 2025 album called Grassroots. Came out May 30th of 2025. And I'd say throughout this one, they jump around a lot of different genres. They have interesting lyrics, kind of an interesting singer as well. A lot of experimental mixes with their songs. I came away from the 8 songs really wanting to love it more, but for now, I just have the song Velvet to recommend. The song only has about 6,000 listens so far on Spotify, and I think it's worth more than that. The singer really belts it out and showcases that. They do have a great voice, and the band is really jamming into some experimental rock is what I'll call it, and I feel like the drummer, they really carry along with the singer on this one. And again, it deserves more than 6,000 listens, that's for sure. All right, next Saucy single. This is going to be Soul on Fire by the artist Timmy Skelly. And let me tell you, don't sleep on Timmy Skelly, at least with the song Soul on Fire. I listened to the EP that this one came off of, and there was some good stuff on it, but nothing quite hits with the same energy that Soul on Fire does. I think the first time I ever heard this song, I just immediately saved it after about the 2-minute and 40-second mark of the song, and I've been queuing it up ever since. There's just great piano, great vocals, some good drums going on. A funny story with this one, it was constantly stuck in my head with this, Baby Will You Set My Soul on Fire or whatever. I had to look up online. I was like, man, with this deep of indie music, it's tough. You don't really have assistance when it comes to what does the song stuck in my head. Sometimes you can look up the lyrics. I looked it up. It brought up a song from The Doors. I was like, I don't think it's that, but let me check. No, it was a very slow song by The Doors. Not the same vibe I was looking for. Timmy Skelly, Soul on Fire. This one's gonna get stuck in your head. I definitely recommend it. So go check that one out. 2 more Saucy singles. We have the song Born To by Bo Stallo. And we've mentioned Bo Stallo so many times in the past couple episodes, and I just don't know how not to recommend Bo's music. He's got that simple acoustic guitar with some drums and piano that fall in, and his voice, the lyrics, they just do wonders for the indie folk scene, and I feel like I'm going to have a hard time not recommending each and every one of Bo Stallo's songs. This falls in that same category with the song Born To by Bo Stallo. And the last Saucy single, this is going to be the song Still by Eden. Eden's a very big artist, kind of experimental, all over the place with the music that they make. And I've really loved Eden for quite some time. Still is actually the number one song on Spotify for Eden right now. And this song comes off of the new album by Eden called Dark. This released on August 22nd. It's an album that I've listened through probably like 4 times all the way through. And I really do like the new album. There's some other songs. The second song on it is just ZZZ. Really like that one on there as well. Again, Eden, one of my favorite artists. There's something about his music that just brings me back in time, brings me back to a different time in my life. And Eden just has that emotional quality to all of his music, to his lyrics, and it can work my emotions in different ways. So I don't get to listen to Eden as much as I'd like to, but this song still by Eden, and even the one ZZZ off the new album Dark, definitely recommend it. And that wraps up Saucy Singles for episode 11 of the Jammies. So hopefully a lot of good new singles for you. Again, each and every one of those will be shuffled into the Jammies playlist. That link is in the description. So shuffle through, check those ones out. If you're liking any of the music, definitely continue diving into each artist, dig a little bit yourself there and see if you can find some brand new artists to really enjoy and love if you're liking the singles that are recommended here. Alrighty, it is time to break down a couple first impressions of actually 5 different albums that have all released within the past month. I'm actually recording this one on, it's a Monday, September 22nd. So by the time this one releases on the 26th, will be 4 days in the future from when I'm recording right now. Most of these albums I've just had a couple weeks to digest, so it's going to be first impressions. There's going to be a couple that I'm maybe not mentioned until potentially the Jammies Awards at the end of the year here, but there's going to be a couple that I talk a little bit longer on, and then there's going to be some that are just very baseline. Here I listen to this album once or twice and hear my initial thoughts, and maybe we'll be talking about them in episode 12 a little bit more. But we are going to go in chronological order here, and the first one we're going to be talking about is the album that we have been mentioning a couple times here. It's When I Change My Mind, I Don't Mean It by Chance Peña. This one released August 29th of this year, and the first time I ever listened to this album, I called it a masterpiece. Me and my wife were driving out to Minnesota. We were listening to it as we drove down there, and man, we were both just blown away with how the album flowed and how great all the songs were. Honestly, we're absolutely spoiled by Chance Peña, spoiled by this album, the songs on it, and Chance Peña as a whole, just releasing so much good music. All the different collaborations that Chance does, and both of his albums that he's come out with. There's maybe one feature on that first album. There's no features on this whole album. He's just doing it all himself. It's his voice, it's his lyrics, and it's close to a damn masterpiece. Each time I've listened to it, it's definitely grown on me more and more, but it's just funny. Even that first time, I was like, wow. Again, spoiled by Chance Peña here. So one guy just making beautiful and full music. It just impresses me every time. And one thing I feel like I noticed with this album that it just popped a little thought in my head, and I don't know if it's actually a thing already, but here's my suggestion to all the artists out there that are maybe making slower acoustic albums, EPs. So I really love stripped albums. I love when an album gets remade into something slower with less instruments going on, just maybe singer, acoustic guitar. We got the stripped album. But I think artists should start making the opposite type of album. Like, if you are a slower acoustic artist, I feel like you should come out with a rock version of your album. Maybe you should recruit some people for drums and electric guitar. And I say this because 2 of my favorite songs on Chance's new album here, it's like it just adds drums, and I'm like, wow. Like, I'm like blown away with these songs. They're some of my favorite songs of the whole year, and really all it is just this incredible singer in Chance Peña, great lyrics. I shouldn't say just, but it is Chance Peña, but then just you throw in maybe some guitar and for sure just some drums, and it just takes it to a whole nother level. So my recommendation for different artists that do acoustic music, do the opposite of a stripped album, do like the rock album adjacent here. And I feel like it would do a lot for me to turn some great indie folk into some folk rock. I mean, I'm the same way with Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners. When there's just a little bit of electric guitar or there's a good drum beat in it, I'm like, man, I wish that they had more that just incorporated the whole band. Of course, it's nice to have your different solo songs as well there, but there's also something to be said about just the full band jamming out to a great singer, powering through as well. So nevertheless, the album itself, it doesn't need that different version because it stands alone as one of the best albums of the year. And I'm sure we'll be talking about When I Change My Mind, I Don't Mean It by Chance Peña. Come later in the year, and definitely come the Jammies Awards in 2025. Again, front to back, I really do love the album, but my favorite songs, and probably the songs that I'll include on the Jammies playlist, are going to be the song Collapse, which was a single before the album came out. But then the two that showed up that have really been just wowing me every time is the song Peacemaker and the song Spinning. Those are going to be my three favorites, but if you're in the mood for some Chance Peña, if you're in the mood for some fantastic indie folk, check out the full album, When I Change My Mind, I Don't Mean It. This one, I mean, there's just plenty to love, and I recommend it front to back. Next album that we're gonna shed some light on, we have the album Sunflowers and Leather by Jonah Kagen. This one came out on September 5th of this year, so again, going chronologically. And this one I have been able to listen through probably 5 times front to back. It's a really raw album. It's very emotionally charged with a lot of the storytelling and the lyricism. And I feel like Jonah Kagen clearly isn't afraid to tell the sad stories or to bring up some of the harder things in life in his music. With that being said, I do like the album. It is definitely an emotional journey through each of them. There's some tough ones to get through with just like the story beats that he is talking about. I appreciate that he is able to do that in his music. So it might not be an album for every day, just with it being, again, very emotionally charged, some deeper, darker topics to be talked about, but some of my favorite songs on the album, the song Light in the End, the song You Again was one that we mentioned actually in the Saucy Singles last week. The song Burn Me has a feature by Sam Barber, and the song that opens the album, When My Ashes Turn White, those are the ones that I really enjoy. Again, listen to it front to back quite a few times. It's a great album, and that one again is called Sunflowers and Leather by Jonah Kagen. All right, 3 more albums to talk about, and we are going to jump into A Quiet and Harmless Living by Maeson. This is the album that Matt Maeson released on September 12th. It is just great to have some new Matt Maeson music. It's been quite some time, and it's been even longer since we've had an album from Matt Maeson. I feel like you could tell by the couple singles that were released, maybe a couple social media posts about the album, that this was going to be an emotional album, and it was going to be a whole lot of deep and sometimes dark topics. It absolutely is. So what I will say about the album, first off, it's beautiful. It's wildly artistic, but it's not necessarily like a Friday afternoon album. It's not necessarily one that's going to hype you up. It's going to more so have you think over times in your life, maybe challenges you faced or could see yourself needing to overcome in the present or in the future. Which, I mean, that's a lot of Matt Maeson music, right? If you are a Matt Maeson fan, I definitely recommend checking out the album. It's going to have some good stuff in there. Some of my favorite songs being A Good Start, In My Arms, which I feel like In My Arms is classic Matt Maeson. You have the song Halfway to Whole and the song Everlasting. Those are probably my 4 favorites on there. There's really just some beautiful melodies going on in here. They have the different orchestra beats in the background of a lot of the songs, and do check out those 4, but if you have the time, if you do appreciate Matt Maeson, just listen to the album front to back, and I think it tells a better story, flows a little bit better than just jumping around through these 4 songs. But if you just needed some place to start, if you didn't know if A Quiet and Harmless Living was an album for you, maybe if these couple ones do stick with you, then go check out the rest of that album there. All right, next album that we had to talk about is Breach by 21 Pilots, released on September 12th of this year. And this album, it took me 6 days after the album was released to find the right time and the right headspace to listen to it for the first time. I don't know if you are like this, but I'm the type of person that really values that first experience with something, especially when it is something that I know and love but is new. So, I mean, 21 Pilots is a great example of what I'm talking about. You only get an album so often from 21 Pilots. We're only going to get so many albums from 21 Pilots. So it's one of those ones that I want to make sure I'm in the right headspace. I'm sitting in front of my nice speakers the first time I get to listen to this one. So yeah, you only get so many new albums from your favorite artists, right? And 21 Pilots, very much one of my favorite artists. In terms of video games, I'm waiting to play Hollow Knight Silk Song right now because I'm waiting for the right time. I want to be mentally ready. I want to know and make sure that I have the time in my free time that I'm going to be able to get through this game and be able to sink in the hours that it truly deserves. Because we've been waiting 8 years for Hollow Knight Silk Song, so who knows if and when there'll be another. So it's one of those things that I'm the type of person I want to make sure that this thing that I value so much, even if I've been waiting a long time for it, that it's the exact right time that I'm going to dive into it, and that I'm going to be able to fully enjoy it and fully immerse myself in it. And man, immersing myself in Breach by 21 Pilots is, oh, it's a treat, man. It's a treat. 7 albums, and I have yet to not love a 21 Pilots album. And this one took me one song on my first sitting to just know we're in for another lovely, wonderful, fantastical album from 21 Pilots. And that first song on the album, Breach, is the song City Walls. It's about 5.5 minutes, and it just immediately shows you that 21 Pilots has not lost a step. And again, that you're in just for another amazing ride that 21 Pilots is going to take you on. So again, I've only listened to this one 2 times front to back, so this is first impressions. I maybe am going to dive further into what I want to talk about with this album in episode 12 of the Jammies, but all I know for right now is that I am far and away impressed, yet again, with 21 Pilots and their latest album, Breach. Last album that we are going to talk about that is out currently is the album Heat of July by Briscoe. This is one that we've been mentioning, one that we've been excited for, but as of right now, it's only been out for 3 days at time of recording, so I've only had a chance to listen to it front to back once, and I'm already pretty sold that this is a solid album from Briscoe. So Briscoe, definitely a pivot from 21 Pilots. Briscoe is more of the country folk, so just first impressions on Heat of July by Briscoe. It's more Briscoe. I mean, the 2 guys have great voices. For me in particular, I do love the voices of both the singers there. They put together some good music. I think Saving Grace to start the album was a great call. You got Roughnecks at 3, which we mentioned in the Saucy Singles. And again, only having one listen through, we're going to give it a little bit more time before we maybe discuss it at a further length in episode 12 of the Jammies, hopefully. So go check out Heat of July by Briscoe if you're looking for some good country folk music, some brand new country folk music by Briscoe there. Alrighty, so that is all the albums that we have to mention. That was the big list right there. We had 4 different artists that we mentioned earlier. We had 10 Saucy Singles, and we had 5 brand new albums that all came out within the last month. And speaking of albums, we got a couple more just to mention in terms of newer upcoming albums that I'll have my eye on and my ears on. First one we're going to mention is an album that's actually already out. It's the album Everything I Wanted by the artist Evan Honer. This one came out on September 19th. I haven't had time to listen through it yet, and really I haven't had the time to listen to Evan Honer and deep dive into his music. So this is one that I'm hopefully going to be able to deep dive into in this next month, especially leading into this brand new album, Everything I Wanted. Evan Honer is definitely an artist that if I hear a song by Evan, I'm usually liking that song. I'm usually filing that away and shuffling into my like songs playlist. I feel like I've heard enough from Evan Honer and enough songs have hit me the right way that I'm like, okay, not only I want to listen to this album, but he is the next artist that I'm going to be deep diving into, like we did with maybe Sam Barber this month. Hopefully more to talk on with Evan Honer soon. We mentioned that The Moss was maybe releasing an EP. We thought it was going to be called Darkness. That just ended up being a single that they released. But The Moss, they're going to be releasing a 4-song EP called Free Ride. This one's going to be coming out on October 3rd. So really hoping that we can get some more great Moss music. We didn't mention Darkness in the Saucy Singles, but maybe with a couple more listens, it'll work for me better, and especially if it flows with this new 4-song EP, Free Ride. I'm hopeful for some great new Moss music. It's been some time since they've really released some music in general. And lastly, the one that we need to mention is It's So Good to See You by Noah Richardson. This is actually out today, and this is the artist showcase that we have today. Noah Richardson, he's been a friend of the show since very early on. He was the first ever artist showcase for the Jammies back in episode 6, I believe. And we've been looking forward to this new EP coming out for months now, and here we are. Here it is. 6-song EP. Again, 4 of the singles were out, but if you haven't heard any of them, you're in for a great indie pop trip of a 6-song EP that's gonna have some good stuff on it. These last 2 singles that haven't released, very excited for everybody to hear these ones too. And I feel like, in my opinion, the last 3 songs on the EP are my 3 favorites. All right, so yeah, last couple things before we get into the artist showcase with Noah Richardson and his single My Turn. Next time we talk, it'll be late October. It'll actually be Halloween. It'll be October 31st is the last Friday in October. So it'll probably be the last quote unquote normal episode of the year for 2025. After that, we will most likely be doing the 2025 year in review, and then the Jammies Awards 2025 will be wrapping up in late December, maybe even the first Friday in January. In the meantime, if anything comes up, definitely, again, reach out on socials via email. We got that Linktree, the linktr.ee/thejammies, or thejammiesshow@gmail.com. Do reach out if anything comes up, if you've been enjoying the show, any of the recommendations, if you have recommendations, if you want your music on the show. Those are all great reasons to reach out. And again, on your way out, make sure to follow the podcast just so you are notified next time an episode drops. So all that being said, I do want to just thank Noah Richardson for the continued partnership, the continued collaboration here. The second time that we will be featuring his music on the show. This is going to be off of his brand new EP called It's So Good to See You. Again, it dropped today as of the episode airing, September 26th here. So go check out My Turn, go check out the EP, and go support Noah Richardson. Thanks again for listening, and keep on jamming.
How's it going, y'all? This is Noah Richardson. You are listening to My Turn off of my new EP, It's So Good to See You. Thank you for listening.
Big house, couple kids, but big fans. Nowadays sure seems so hard to get. Every time I get up out of that hole, I get a shovel and I dig down real low. Looking over my shoulder, and what I find is that everybody else is doing fine. Yeah, the fake smiles, but not like mine. They've been part of the joke for quite some time. And I don't know if I'm the punchline. Where do you see my turn? Where do you see my turn? It's like I only go backwards. See my turn. So I gave up smoking just to pick up drinking, and I gave up drinking just to pick up stroking my ego with people and places and things that damn sure don't give a fuck about me. And I talk to God almost every day, and that damn phone don't work for the ways, man. I need saving. Hey man, I know you're upstairs, but I'm down here in the basement. I've been getting impatient. Where do you see my turn? Where do you see my turn? It's like I only go backwards. See my
Thank you again so much for checking out the episode. Thank you, Noah Richardson, for showcasing your music on the show. Make sure to be checking out those Jammies playlists now. Go check out all the songs recommended in this episode by just clicking that link in the description, shuffling up those songs. That's all we got. Appreciate Noah Richardson for showcasing his music, his talents, one more time here on The Jammies. Appreciate everybody for listening in today, and keep on jamming.